Hey, this is TCAT here with Fort Black. Today we're going to go over condition slash cut settings for the CE7000-60 24-inch plotter. We are going to go over the speed, the force, what tool position to use, what type of blades to use, all in order to cut different media such as permanent craft decal vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, and a laminated sticker sheet. Let's get into it. All right, guys, this is my Graphtec CE7000-60 plotter. All right, so these are my blade plungers. I have one for my 60-degree blade, and I have another one for my 45-degree blade. The 45-degree blade is a standard blade to cut heat transfer vinyl, decal vinyl, things like that. And I have my 60-degree blade in order to do perforated slash die cut stickers. So one of the big questions people have is how far should you have your blade exposed for the media that you're using? Graphtec recommends that you have the blade exposed just a little past the width of the media that you're using. So if you could see, it's going to be something like that. So first, we're going to use the 45-degree blade, and we're going to cut heat transfer vinyl and decal vinyl. So right now, we're going to go ahead and load into the blade holder. All right, this is the blade holder. Now, the Graphtec CE7000 has two positions for the blade. You have your backward position and your forward position. The backward position you could use with the 45-degree blade in order to cut decal and heat transfer vinyl. And you're going to use the forward position in order to cut perforated slash die cut stickers. All right, in order to install the blade, all you have to do is turn this counterclockwise until you're able to fit the blade in. If you turn it all the way, it'll actually come out just like that, and that's pretty annoying. I'm pretty pissed because the Graphtec CE8000, it has like a click, or it's easier to do it instead of having to do all this bullshit. I just bought this maybe about 7 months ago. The new one actually is able to do this a lot easier, which kind of sucks because you don't have to do all this bullshit. All right, so when you load the blade in, just make sure the cap's going downwards. And since we're going to use the 45-degree blade, we're going to use the backward position. So all you do is sit it there like that. Just make sure it's flush. And then you're going to get this and screw it into place. And I kind of just hand tighten it until it's secure. And that bad boy isn't going anywhere. So I did make a cheat sheet in Adobe Illustrator to remind me how things went when I first started. So for the backward position, it's actually tool 1. And again, you use that for decal vinyl, heat transfer vinyl. It's a 45-degree blade, which is standard blade. This is what the actual blade is called in the display settings with the Graphtec. You use it for kiss cut. And then line pattern 1 is what type of cut it is, and it's going to be a solid line. Then you have your forward position, and it's going to be tool slot number 3. And this is for the 60-degree blade with that number, and it's for perf slash die cuts. And then in the Graphtec line pattern 5 is a perforated cut setting. First, we're going to cut some heat transfer vinyl and change the condition slash cut settings. Right now we're at the menu. In order to change the conditions slash settings, we need to go ahead and press the condition test button. From here, you have your different settings. So you have your condition, your tool, your speed, your force, and whatever setting you want to get to, you have to click on the corresponding number. So you have 1 for condition, 2 for tool, 3 for speed. Well, right now we're going to go to 1 for condition. And I already have my condition number 1 and 2 set. So we're going to change condition 3. But if you scroll, you notice that it has 8 condition settings that you could change. So let's go back to 3. Once you get to it, I'm going to go ahead and press enter to set it. Right now we're using the 45-degree blade to cut out some heat transfer vinyl. So we're going to go to 2 for tool. So this menu, so we're going to go for 2 for type. When you change it, it shows a different type of blades that you could use. And we're going to change it to the CB09U, and that is the blade identification number. Now we could go ahead and set it. We're going to go to 3 for speed. Right now it's set to 20. I believe the default is 20 or 25. Whenever you're doing heat transfer vinyl, that's a good number to put it at, 20 to 25. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at 20. Press enter. We're gonna go to force, which is 4. Right now it's at 31, which is a little too high. I put heat transfer vinyl so I know where more or less what to put it at. So we're gonna go ahead and put it at 8. You're on 3, so we're just gonna hit the arrow down until it reaches 8. Once you get it to the number you want, go ahead and set it. So the first menu pops up the first 4 settings, but then you could hold the arrow down and you'll go to more settings. For the purpose of this video, we're not going to all the settings, and plus I'm not an expert at this thing. What I'm just going to show you is how to get what you want done. So now we're going to go to the cut line pattern, which is 3. I'm going to go to 2 for type. 5 is a perforated cut line pattern. So we're going to go to 1, which is a solid line for, decal vinyl and heat transfer vinyl. We're going to press escape. And then to set it as 1, you need to press enter. So now I'm going to go to the next set of settings. And then we're going to go to assign tool. Number 2 is for assign tool. Right now we have it at 3. 3 is the forward position, which we use for the 60-degree blade for pop-out stickers. We're not using that, so we need to change that. So for 3, I'm going to hit 1. Remember, 1 is tool carrier 1, which is the backward position, which is the 45-degree standard blade, what we use for decal vinyl and heat transfer vinyl. We're going to go ahead and press enter to set it. And now we're all good for the condition settings. So we go back to the very beginning. We have condition number 3, which is our cut setting. We have the tool at tool slot 1 because we're going to put it in the backward position. We have the speed at 20. We have the force at 8. And now we're going to perform a cut test. On the bottom, if you press the left arrow, it cuts out 1 square with a triangle. And then if you press right, it cuts out 3 squares with this triangle. We're just going to do the 1 square. All right, so now we're going to load the heat transfer vinyl. When you bring this lever forward, it clamps down the pinch rollers. And when you push it back, it opens up the pinch rollers. So right now it's open. We're going to get our heat transfer vinyl. If the blade holder is in the way, you could just push it to the side. We're going to slide the heat transfer vinyl underneath the pinch rollers, or you can move them to the side. You want to line the edge of the heat transfer vinyl with one of these lines. That looks good. You want to always have the pinch roller aligned with one of these blue marks. Now, where to put the pinch rollers on the actual media is up to you, but with my cheat sheet, if you could see, if you have media less than 2 meters, it recommends it put it at least 0.2 inches away from the edge of the media. So you go in 0.2 inches and then you can put that. Now, if it's longer than 2 meters, it recommends going 0.6 inches inside of the media. So everything's looking good. I have it lined up, pinch rollers at a good place on either side. It's lined up with the blue marks. Now I'm gonna get the lever, push it forward, and it's gonna go ahead and clamp the pinch rollers down. From here, we're gonna go to the menu. Now we need to get out of the condition settings, so we're gonna press the condition. And this is like the main menu whenever you load media. And since we're using a heat transfer vinyl sheet and not a roll, we're gonna hit 3. Now, if you were using a roll, you could either do 1 or 2, but we're gonna use 3. It's gonna do its thing. It's gonna find the front and back of the media. Then you go back to the condition. Now you can perform your cut test. Here's the cut test. And we're gonna press the left arrow for one triangle, or we could press the right arrow for three triangles to test out. We're just gonna do the one. So I'm gonna press the left arrow, and it's gonna tell you to position to wherever you wanna do the cut test. So right now, this is a blank piece of heat transfer vinyl, so that's a good position for me. But let's just say, I don't know, I had different cut tests already. You could adjust it by moving the blade. In order to move the blade, you want to hold down slow and use the arrows. So that's what happens when you hold down slow and use the arrows. Now, if you don't hold down slow, this is what happens. It goes super fast and it's harder to control. So we're gonna scoot it back. Actually, that's a good spot for me. And now I'm going to press enter, and it does the cut test. So from here, I'm gonna go grab my weighting tool. We're gonna find out where we did the cut. As you can see, it's a square with a triangle. So that cut looks pretty good. So the way I like to judge how good my cuts are is for heat transfer vinyl, you want to be able to go all the way through the vinyl, but you just want to lightly score the carrier sheet. You don't want to go all the way through the carrier sheet. All right, for shits and giggles, we're gonna do different cut settings. That way you can see when it's not going far enough and then when it's going too far. All right, so let's go back to the display. We're gonna go back to condition 3, and we're gonna make the settings to where it doesn't cut all the way through the heat transfer vinyl. So we're gonna leave the speed the same, and we're gonna adjust the force. Now the force is the one that determines how far you go through the vinyl. So force is 4, we're gonna press 4. Right now we have it at 8, so we're gonna put it at 1, just so y'all could see what you're trying to do in order to find the perfect cut setting for you. We're gonna press enter, and then we're gonna go to cut test. Just the left arrow. Since we're doing the second cut test, it's already in the position we're already cut. So this is where you're gonna have to move it. Again, hold down slow, and then press the left arrow, and it switches. I'm gonna stop there. That's a good spot. So we're gonna go ahead and press enter, and it's gonna perform the cut test. So I don't know if you could see. There's it actually didn't cut anything. It was so low. So we're gonna readjust the setting. We're gonna go back. We're gonna adjust the force. Right now we have it at 1. So let's go to, it was at 8 for a good cut. Let's do it in half. Let's go to 4 and see what it does. We're gonna go ahead and set it by pressing enter. And then again, we're gonna do another cut test. Well, pressing the left arrow. We're gonna move it. That looks good. So let's do it. I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but you can see the square and a triangle. So it's right here. I'm gonna go ahead and try wheeling it. As you can see, it didn't cut through enough. And then it starts to peel and tear. And then it didn't even cut the triangle out. All right, so now we're gonna put too much force and see what happens. So again, we're gonna go to number 4. We had it at 8 for a good cut. So let's just double it and do 16 just to see what happens if you have the force too high for your media. Press enter. We're gonna do our cut test. So that was a good cut all the way through, but on the backing, you could actually feel it almost coming through, but it didn't quite go all the way through. So let's do a little bit more. Again, you just want to have it to where it barely scores the backing. That way you don't wear out your blade. Let's go to force. Let's go ahead and push it all the way to 30 because I know that's good for perf cut settings in order to pop it out. Let's press enter. I'm gonna press left to do a cut pattern. And then we're going to position it over here, and then we're going to go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so this is what happens when you use too much force. It cut it out as if it were a die cut. You don't want that for heat transfer vinyl. Okay, so now I just bought some holographic brushstroke vinyl. This is a permanent craft decal vinyl, and we're gonna go ahead and do a cut test on this. All right, so whenever you load your media, since this is regular decal vinyl, you could put on car windows. They're kind of like stickers, but more permanent, and they can last outdoors. The decal vinyl doesn't have a carrier sheet, so the actual media is the top that you want to cut, and then it has the backing. So this is more of a roll instead of a sheet, and it's bigger than the 12-inch heat transfer vinyl we just did. So I'm going to push the pinch roller more to the right. Here we go. And then again, since it's a roll, I'm going to use number 1 and find the front edge of the roll. All right, the machine found the front edge. Now we could do a cut test. So from here again, to do a cut test, we go to conditions/test. For decal vinyl, we're in tool number 1 with this type of blade. But we're going to change the force. The force is way too much. So we're going to put the force. We're going to try 8. This material feels a little bit more thick, so we might need to bump it up, but we're going to find out right now. I'm going to press left arrow to test it. I already have it in a good spot. We're going to go ahead and weed it out. So as you could see, it took it all the way out and didn't leave the triangle, which it should have. So I would bump it up, maybe 2 more. I would bump it up to 10. Let's go ahead and try the 10 out. Press enter to get off of this little screen. And then we're going to go back to 4. And right now it's at 8, so we're going to bump it up to 10. Press enter to set it, and then we're going to cut out the triangle. I'm going to move it over. All right, let's go ahead and weed it out, see how it weeds. Again, the force isn't strong enough. Let's try 2 more. All right, we have it at 10. Let's go ahead and put it at 12. Press enter, do the cut test. Gonna move the blade over. That's good. It's a little better, but I'm still not liking it. So we're gonna bump it up 2 more. Yeah, I would say about 14 to 16 would be good for this type of material. Again, like the specialty material, I've always noticed it requires a little bit more force, glitter, things like that. So that's how you load and test the material. There's going to be a lot of trial and error with different media, but always make sure you do a cut test. That way you're not wasting it. For instance, that decal vinyl was the force of 14, and the heat transfer vinyl was 8. So if I use that 8 for the decal vinyl, I would have just wasted that time cutting it, and it would have cut all the way through. So go ahead and do your cut test and make your life a lot easier. All right, so we used the 45-degree blade to cut the decal and heat transfer vinyl. Now we're going to switch it over to the 60-degree blade so we could do a print and cut. We're doing holographic stickers on an 8.5 by 11 sticker sheet. Let's get into it. All right, so I printed out my holographic sticker sheet. Right now I'm going to go ahead and laminate it. I'm using 210 Orgard laminate. I have my ceramic safety blade cutter. This scores the back of the laminate so that I could take off a strip and then apply it to the holographic sticker sheet. It does take some practice in order to get the cut just right, because sometimes you can cut it if you apply too much force. Peel that strip off. Get your sticker sheet. Line it up. And it doesn't have to be exact, as long as the actual sticker part is covered correctly. Get your squeegee. Squeegee the top. Go ahead and take off the backing. We're going to run it through the laminate. I'm going to stick it in, let the laminate hang over the roller, and then we're going to roll it through. And now you have a laminated sticker sheet. All right, let's go ahead and load the sticker sheet. Whenever you have a sticker sheet, you don't ever want to adjust the registration marks because you need this big space in order for the pinch rollers to hold it and be able to cut, the graphics all the way towards the end. So the small is always going to go towards you, and the larger end is going to go towards the back. It's an 8.5 11 sticker sheet. I'm going to press 3. You want to make sure the blade's within the registration mark. Hold down slow and use the arrows to move the blade. I'm going to move it to the left. Then I'm going to press down and bring the sheet towards me a little bit. And that's looking pretty good. So now that everything's loaded, you got the blade within the registration mark. You got the pinch rollers on the left side of the registration on both sides. So now we can go to the Graphtec Studio 2, send the job, and then it will cut out. We're gonna go ahead and take it out. Again, these are perf / die cut stickers. So all you gotta do is pop them out. Put a little bit of pressure on the sticker. And they pop right out. Pretty cool. All right, guys. So that's a little bit about what blade to use, what condition settings, what tool position to use in order to cut different medias like heat transfer vinyl, decal vinyl, and laminated sticker sheets. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.